Hello! In this video I'm going to show you a game in the Nicholas, which is, well, it's the first American destroyer of a new type of design. And it's the basic design principle the American destroyers will have from Tier 5, this ship, right up to Tier 10. And it's the point for me where I think American destroyers start becoming absolutely excellent. And I've kind of realised over the last few days that it's because, well, basically I like playing light cruisers. I feel that it's the playstyle that I have the most fun in and I kind of do the best at. But after Tier 5, there kind of aren't really any decent light cruisers, or at least any light cruisers to play, with the exception of the Atlanta. And the next best thing we have in the games at the moment are these American destroyers. Since they are very fast, they have small, rapid-firing, very accurate guns, and they're agile enough to avoid enemy fire, which makes them the perfect destroyer killers, as you're about to see here with this enemy Izokaze, which just appears around the island. So fire off my 4 guns, and take away about a quarter of its hit points. And my second broadside's out. A small time later, again a quarter of its hit points gone. Broadside number 3 leaves it on a tiny bit of health. I put on the brakes a bit and I'm agile enough to avoid its torpedoes while my team finishes it off. And just like that, a pretty dangerous Japanese destroyer has been knocked out of the game because it just got too close to an American destroyer. Having said that, well, I do really like the Nicholas. It's not without its weaknesses. There are 2 things that bug me about this ship. The first is that it's actually a very big target, so even though it's agile, it does seem to get hit a lot more than you would expect, considering the manoeuvring I put in. It just stands very high out of the water, so it's quite a large target. And the other thing that I dislike about this ship is that it's actually got pretty poor firing arcs. It's got 4 guns, and they are great guns, 127mm guns, so compared to the Clemson, they are larger, and they're also more accurate, I'm pretty certain. And they fire a lot faster, so the DPM of this thing is just phenomenal compared to the Clemson and everything you're used to coming out the American destroyer line. But just because of the firing arcs, you can really kind of have to be pretty broadside on to your targets to fire all 4 guns. And quite often I'll only be firing 3 or 2 because I want to focus more on avoiding fire than killing the enemy. And I was quite surprised by that. There was a Tenru I was shooting at earlier, I managed to set it on fire. Didn't really think anything of it, I was just firing away at it while I didn't have any better targets to shoot at. And I actually managed to kill it by fire. Couldn't even see it at the moment it died, and I'd completely forgotten it was there. But that was my first kill, a enemy cruiser, Tenru. The battleship I was shooting at then as well, it died. So that's 1 enemy ship I've killed. And 2 that I almost got the finishing shot on, but didn't quite. See me now, I'm firing away at those enemy fighters with my anti-aircraft guns. And the Nicholas is also the first American destroyer that really gets decent anti-aircraft guns. And, well, the downside of them is that the main armament on the Nicholas is actually dual purpose. So, your anti-aircraft guns will fire at enemy aircraft well before the enemy aircraft will actually spot you, so it can give away your position. But as you see, I tend to fire my guns whenever I can, so I don't usually bother turning my anti-aircraft guns off, since pretty well I'm spotted all the time anyway, so it doesn't really bug me that much. But it's something to be aware of. As you see, I've managed to shoot down 1 enemy aircraft, so having them on does give benefits to your team. Now in this case, when I've come around to support my Minakaze, firing away at this enemy cruiser here, enemy destroyers popping up, but we can't really get good sight on it because of the smokescreen the Minakaze was laid. But having said that, that smokescreen is really helping me out well because the enemy can't actually spot me. Nor can that Minakaze, even though it's only within a few kilometers of me. So I'm basically getting 3 shots on this enemy cruiser here, and in a second I'll twitch fire to the Minakaze, because they just can't see me. I mean, they must know the general direction this fire is coming from, but they aren't returning fire because they don't know I'm there. And even when my anti-aircraft guns open up on those enemy fighters flying overhead, because I'm still in the smoke screen, those aircraft also don't see me. So that engagement was very well for us, and it was a well-placed smoke screen by the Minakaze. It enabled us to, well, me mostly, to do a fair bit of damage to the enemy without them being able to do anything at all to us. The enemy Nicholas, it's going to come around this corner, so I fire some torpedoes just to hope that hit it. It lays its smoke screen, but luckily for me, it's travelling faster than its smoke screen is being laid behind it. So it pops visible every once in a while, and I'm able to put some shots into it. I was really expecting some torpedoes there, but my ally managed to kill that Nicholas just before it launched its torpedoes. So, well, I got lucky there, really. Firing away at this Minakaze now, doing a fair bit of damage, and again I have to put on the brakes to avoid its torpedoes. And also, while this was happening, my anti-aircraft guns were firing away at enemy fighters that were chasing one of our torpedo bomber squadrons. I've actually managed to shoot down 2 of them, and in a second I'm actually going to shoot down a 4th aircraft, which actually allows the friendly torpedo bomber squadron to escape. So in that situation I actually did very well here. As you've seen, that we've got a moment to catch our breath. Our team's winning pretty well. We're capturing the A point, and we've actually broken through to the enemy aircraft carriers. There are 2 enemy battleships heading down towards our cap circle, but it's only a St. Louis heading back to defend their cap circle. So I move in to start capturing. I was thinking about going after those aircraft carriers when I spot that Minakaze from earlier, and it seems like it's maybe not crippled, but at least not in a really good position to fight back from, so I close in for the kill, completely forgetting that there's an enemy cruiser closing in on us. It's a St. Louis, which is only a tier 3 cruiser, but it does have a lot of guns, and any cruiser is very dangerous in a Nicholas. So St. Louis is open fire on me, and it's actually managed to destroy one of my forward 2 turrets, which is going to make it very awkward because I'm trying to close the range with this Minakaze, and while I'm doing so, I'm not going to be able to fire my fire all my guns. But I decide that's not working out well for me. I pop smoke and pull back. But the St. Louis managed to set me on fire. I've just used my repair. I do fire off some torpedoes at it, and now it can't see me. But basically my hit points are so low, I'm about to die anyway, so I decide to open fire on the Minakaze, which gives my position away. But the Minakaze dies, I die from the St. Louis, but then I manage to sink the St. Louis with my torpedoes. And it also manages to get me it's just the flesh wound medal and the Confederate medal. So, well, I obviously did a lot of damage to enemy ships, but unfortunately I actually only got 2 kills. There were quite a few of them against the Izokaze at the start, the Minakaze just then, the Minakaze, the Nicholas earlier on, the enemy battleship, where I almost got the kill, but my team got it for me. As you see, top of my team in experience, 1800 is pretty good. In any ship really, but especially a tier 5 destroyer. Did, what, just under 50,000 hit points of damage in a ship with 13,000 hit points to give. So that was a pretty good game, and the Nicholas, it's a pretty good ship. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all next time.